Jai Sriman Narayan.
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 I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to the Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to the 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here present at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse live, locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted in the various groups from around the world subsequently. Today is a very special day for the Sri Narayan Dham, in that on the 5th of May 2019, the Sri Narayan Dham was officially inaugurated in terms of all conditions for inauguration in the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya. We had the grace of Goutham Acharya, who inaugurated this ashram in terms and protocols which is relevant in the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya. Goutham Acharya is a Pancharathra Agama priest, and he has surrendered to his Guru, Chinna Jeeyar Swami, who is globally known for spreading Sri Vaishnavism around the globe. It was a momentous occasion in that in this Kali Yuga, this ashram, the Sri Narayan Dham, is the first Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya ashram, not only in South Africa, but on the entire African continent, that was inaugurated with full potencies backed up in the Sampradaya itself. It is no coincidence that both Goutham Acharya, as a disciple of Swami Chinna Jeeyar, also inaugurated my Guru's ashram, Swami Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj Ashram, the Sri Siddhartha Ashram in Faridabad, India. And this ties up in its totality my spiritual connection with my spiritual master. This cannot be a coincidence. Also at this point, I would like to wish a long-standing devotee, Swami Vasudeva Ramanuj Das, a very happy birthday. few words, Vasudeva is what all disciples should strive to be. To date, he has not counted any instruction that I have given him. On many occasions, I tested him by informing him that what he did was wrong. Whilst knowing what he did was right, he did not clarify, he did not debate. He simply said, "Sorry, Acharya ji." He was a common thread that assisted the progress of the establishment of this physical Sri Narayan Dham. He was ever ready to sacrifice all for this mission. I redirected him back to his family, as I found it was not time for him to sacrifice all and be in the ashram permanently. And I know in time, when his time is right, then he will perform his duties in the ashram towards the latter parts of his life. Vasudeva Ramanuj Das, a very happy birthday to you from all of us at the Sri Narayan Dham, from all on behalf of the devotees that are not present, and we wish you all the success in the future years, and thank you wholeheartedly for the immense sacrifices that you have made. May Lord Sriman Narayan and the entire Sri Sampradaya bless you today. Coming back to the Sri Narayan Dham, there are many moving and divine stories. And it is for this reason that we took this entire month so that we can reveal all the divinity that is inherent in this system in a clear and unhurried manner throughout this entire month. And most of the stories of the Sri Narayan Dham will start after this 22nd of May. In this current period, I want to round up the basics of the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya. So from the 22nd May onwards, we will reveal our appearance on the African continent. I want to give a brief introduction to the Sri Narayan Dham. A few years back, when I was instructed to preach, and even to date, I have very limited preaching material. I am not versed in Hindi, neither am I versed in Sanskrit. And the parts of the Vedas, or the Vedas collectively, is the source of my knowledge. However, I do not have these manuscripts and scriptures in English. And it is for this reason that I am forced to realize things that I do not understand. I started my preaching on the 10th of October 2013. And I was instructed to preach as a Swami on the 18th of October 2015. So these two, and I am born on the 3rd of October 1962. So I thought these would be the most important days of the institution that I am heading. October. So we started our yearly celebrations 2014, 2015 and 2016 during the month of October. And we said we will set this as a week of festivities. We started with the birthday to culminate in the birthday of our first preaching. And when I was asked to start preaching under the title of Swami from my Guru's wife, Guru Mataji, in 2015. Again and throughout, all that I personally desired never really happened in the manner in which I thought or I tried to motivate it to happen. For some reason, in 2017, we could not celebrate our yearly October functions. And we decided to celebrate it in January. And then I had an instruction, like I usually do. I do not act from impulses. Whatever I do on the spiritual platform, I am instructed from within by my spiritual master. Sometimes it is clear and sometimes it is not so clear. However, whether the instructions are clear or unclear, I act upon my spiritual master's instructions spontaneously. I do not look for financial backup or material backup or devotee backup. If my Guru instructs me from within to perform a certain task, then from the day I have surrendered to him totally, and to this point, I never question my Guru, although the instructions come from within. I have no luxury of conversing with my Guru. He has not given me the luxury to have a conversation with him. All he does is give me instructions. And when I want to, and if I want to continue the conversation on the instruction, he mysteriously disappears. And likewise, he instructed me to have a 24-hour non-stop satsang starting on the 6th of January and concluding on the 7th of January 2018. And he wanted me to declare to the world that Lord Sriman Narayan was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as I've stated earlier, I am not in possession of the Vedas in manuscript form. And this became a monumental task to me, because whatever literature is available in English, it belongs to another Vaishnava sect. And this Vaishnava sect has declared to the world one of the incarnations of Lord Sriman Narayan as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when I perused and pondered over the instructions that my Guru has given me and the scripture available to me to make this declaration to the world, and I had known since 2007, when I heard the bhajan for the very first time, Sriman Narayan and Narayana, which was just sung by Shravan, that Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme God. And as it is stated, the soul is a knower. The soul is a knower. It does not matter in what knowledge or in what language the soul knows. The soul is a knower, and it can know in any language. And this is another reason why I have declared this month the month of the Ramanujans, because I want to show from tomorrow that the Lord incarnates in a language as well. If He can incarnate as an animal, if He can incarnate as a human, then why cannot He incarnate in a language? Coming back, I cried within myself because I only had a few weeks to declare to the world that Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme Lord. And that declaration was made by my Guru, Swami Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. His videos and discourses are in Hindi, and I did not have the privilege of knowing anyone in South Africa at that point in time that could translate his discourses so that I could explain to the Western world in English that Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme Lord. So I cried in my heart. I remember seeing Guruji. Whenever he mentioned the name Narayan, he would put his finger up like this, and tears would roll down his cheeks. This is how much love and compassion Guruji had for Lord Sriman Narayan. And this is all I knew. I knew that when you follow a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master, whatever instructions he gives you, that instruction is as solid as a rock. And I took my love of my Guru, Swami Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj, and his declaration that Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme Lord. And I cried within myself. And I said, Guruji, you've given me such a monumental task. Not even the internet in January 2018 had any information in English on Lord Sriman Narayan. They just had a general information on Lord Sriman Narayan. So I cried, and as I cried, this information reached me. And from the 6th and 7th of January 2018 to date, that is 5th of May 2020, we have comprehensively re-established from the Sri Narayan Dham to the world as per Vedic injunctions from the Vedas, from the Upanishads, from the Puranas, from the Ramayana, and from the Mahabharata. And we have conclusively shown the world that Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme Lord. We have posted these discourses, and these discourses are transcribed so that those who cannot afford data to view these discourses on YouTube, they can read these discourses on Facebook and WhatsApp. And we have fulfilled my Guru's instruction to me. We have fulfilled my Guru's instruction to me in declaring to the world that Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme Lord. This is the potency, and this is the Sri Sampradaya in action. This is the Sri Sampradaya in action, and it has been going on like this since time immemorial. And I'm going to show you how my personal character my life, my habits, up until I met my spiritual master. How it is intertwined with the 12 alvars, with Lord Sri Ramanuj, and with my spiritual master Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. And this will happen from, I think, tomorrow onwards. Coming back, on the 13th of February, we acquired this land on which the Sri Narayan Dham stands. 13th of February 2018. So just follow the date. 6th and 7th, I declared to the world and re-established that Lord Sriman Narayan singularly is the Supreme Lord. Then 3 weeks in January, 2 weeks in February, 5 weeks later, we acquired this land to build the Sri Narayan Dham. This land stands, or this dwelling at that point in time was standing on a hill. There was no access to this land. This land has an 80-meter driveway from the road, and that 80-meter driveway, 40 meters of the driveway was in a 12-meter ravine. And this land was purportedly to be given to 6 entities, one being a spiritual entity and 5 businesses. And all these businesses refused this land because it would cost them 10 times more than the value of the land to build the access to this land. And even when that was done, this land had no parking for a vehicle. So you could just build a driveway and park only one vehicle on this land, because surrounding this land at an angle of 22 degrees was a sheer drop between 12 to 20 meters surrounding this land. So this land was absolutely useless to anybody. Today, we have a dual driveway from the road coming down to this land, and we have created a terraced parking. When it is completed, 100 motor vehicles can park around this land comfortably. And all this is the power of the Supreme Lord, Lord Sriman Narayan, of my Guru, Swami Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj, and not forgetting Lord Sri Ramanuj. Since acquiring the land, many of the devotees that were associated with me fell off, as I had stopped going out to various centers to conduct ashram activities, as I had to busy myself. This building was a dilapidated building with absolutely nothing, no electricity, no plumbing, no roofing, no windows. and it was a haven for criminality. So a lot of work had to be done both on the building and on developing this land to bring it to its current position. And when most of the devotees fell off, we only had a handful of devotees. It was the sheer dedication of this handful of devotees I don't have time to mention the name today, but within this course, or within this month, I will name them. We have accomplished an impossible task. The ashram is looking magnificent. We are busy on the western end. By end of this week, the western end should be completed. In the construction of this ashram, Lord Sriman Narayan chose the simplest of people. The ashram itself started being constructed in January 2019. At that point in time, we only had 6 bags of cement, 1 truckload of river sand, and 1 truckload of building sand, and 6 bags of cement, and 2 people, Anand and Chris. And we broke the walls in this ashram itself. It used to have 6 rooms. With a hammer and chisel, when we used the old bricks with the 6 bags of cement, Anand was the builder, and Chris. And then, for reasons best known to Anand himself and Lord Sriman Narayan, Anand left. And now we have Lizwe, who was introduced by Sean. And he came and he completed, and he continues to work in this ashram from his heart. We have Charles, who joined us in November. He continues to do the plumbing, the electrical, the carpentry from the bottom of his heart. We have Chris. He does everything from the bottom of his heart. These 3 that are seated here today, they will build a particular part of the ashram under my direction, and then they will rejoice. They will exude happiness. And when we painted the domes, the happiness and jubilation from these 3 could not be measured. And this is the manner in which this ashram is being built. And Shawan has rejoined us. He's been instrumental in living in this ashram when it was in its worst state with Chris. They had to guard the tools and building implements when this place was getting broken into by robbers. And all these people that are seated here, together with Mataji, who provides nourishment 4 or 5 times a day to our hard-working devotees. And there are those, as I said, I'll mention names as we move along later. It is fair for me to ask Lord Sriman Narayan to really bless these artisans. They work hard. Each person does the work of 3 other people. And I don't think anywhere in the world a handful of people have built an entire ashram. And we have spent in excess of 1.2 million rand already on this ashram. And even then, if we have to go back and see how the money came, it might be impossible to trace. And this is the power of Lord Sriman Narayan and the Sri Sampradaya. We're going to conclude by cutting a cake and having a birthday song for the ashram. Thank you. Jai Sriman Narayan.
They will take the cake and leave it by Lord Sri Ramanuj.